Welcome back, Troglodytes.
Les Paul Custom Lite. They were first introduced in the late 80s and discontinued fairly quickly. Not because they weren't necessarily super popular, but just not popular enough to keep producing them. But I believe it was around 2011, 2012, they started to introduce the Custom Lite series back. It came back in many iterations, but I think it's 2013 and 2017 are the most desirable. The first ones in 2012, 2013 came in a similar fashion as this one. It had the custom headstock emblem, but then in 2014 they switched it to the crown emblem, and there's a few flower pot emblem ones out there. Obviously the most desirable is the custom emblem because they look and resemble a custom shop guitar, but they have the light body. Now, the thickness of this body is about the same as an SG, but these things are just great. They fit your body very well because they kind of have a comfort cutaway back here instead of binding, as you can see. So these are just fantastic players' guitars. They're a lot easier on your back than a traditional Les Paul Custom. Introduction aside, they are fantastic guitars. I just got done playing this one for an hour, and man, this thing really is nice. Alright, so now onto the condition. This guitar is very rarely played. You do have, very minor nicks and dings when we will go over that. Fretboard is rosewood. That's the other difference, and you have acrylic inlays versus a custom shop one. Fretwear, next to nothing. I mean, it's a 2017. It's less than a year old. So you have very minor fretwear, we'll show you. Nothing to even really see. Now onto the body of the guitar. This thing looked almost mint to me, but then I played it and I got some finger smudges on it. Something to note is there is a factory defect. You can kind of see it there where the finish kind of checked a little bit in that area. Nothing to worry about. As you can see, you've got some fingerprints on the pickguard there. But other than that, it's pretty clean. You've got just your light smudges, but no major nicks or dings to really speak of on this one, thankfully. Your bridge does show some plating wear, and it is currently set up as a wrap tail, which, if you've never experienced, wrapping your strings over, I would definitely suggest trying it. Whenever I set a guitar up, I typically do, the traditional way, but when you do it this way, your strings feel a little slinkier, so bends are a little bit easier. Other than that, it's not too different. You've got a Seymour Duncan in the neck and a PRS Dragon in the bridge, which this pickup sounds surprisingly very good in this guitar. These pickups really work well with each other. On to the back of the headstock here. The serial number is kind of hard to see on this one, which is fairly common for nowadays Gibsons. It looks almost like it says 2016 and has a 2017 serial number, which is not uncommon. You do see that. Something else to note is there is some finish checking on the back here. Let's see if we can get a close-up. You can see that these little lines kind of stem from where the screws were put in. That's caused by over-tightening. It's not a break, crack, or repair, thankfully, but it is there and in the finish. So it's good to know about. And that's only on the treble side. The bass side is clear of that. But the neck is break, crack, and repair free, thankfully. As you can see, the neck has very minimal wear, if any at all. And it's honestly, I would almost say this one's a 50s style neck. It's a lot bigger than other custom lights I've had, but I still think they kind of fall in that 60s medium category. Back of the guitar is equally as clean. As you can see when we shine it in the light, there's hardly any evidence of playing or buckle wear. The worst thing on this guitar is right there. You got a little ding in the finish, which honestly isn't too bad. Looks like the wiring was redone in there to 50s style, because I believe these come with the PCB boards originally. But overall, this guitar is very clean. Take a look at the sides here. As you can see, it's about half of what a normal Les Paul Custom is. And you have this comfort cutaway, so the guitar just kind of, forms to your body a little bit better, which I'm personally a big fan of. I usually play sitting down, and that's how I've played all previous custom lights, but as you'll see in the playing demo, I actually played standing up this time, and these things are a lot more comfortable than normal Les Paul Customs. So I can definitely see why these things are so popular. This guitar comes with a hard shell case. It says Gibson USA on it, and it even has that Made in Canada sticker on it, but it's actually a counterfeit Gibson case. I know that because I've had a few of these, come through the shop. Some people just don't know it, or they threw this in. But the guitar is 100% authentic, I can guarantee you that. But the case, not so much. The inside of this one actually is, the nicest one I've seen. Sometimes they can be fairly cheap, but this one's not too bad. You can see the case is kind of a little bit too big. Maybe it's because this is a Lite and it's meant for a traditional Gibson, but it does fit. While it does look huge, it does stay in place for the most part. You can see that gap there, but it's kind of worn away the padding in there to the point where it doesn't move around too much. I'll pack you some extra bubble wrap, or if you'd rather have a different case, I do have a few other case upgrade options for a little bit more if you'd prefer. Weight-wise, this one sits right under 8 pounds, 7 pounds, 14.3 ounces. So it's not the lightest one ever. There's some of these that are really light and they neck dive. This one, definitely not that. It's a great playing guitar. On to the black light test here. This is kind of cool because I haven't done a more modern guitar on my channel yet in black light as far as videos go. But the binding is actually so white, it kind of actually fluoresces a really bright color, which I think is cool on modern guitars. Now, since the lacquer isn't too old, it doesn't glow too much. It kind of glows a different type of hue. But you can see if there was any touch-ups, and there isn't. The headstock is of particular interest on this one since the finish checking, but as you can see, no breaks, cracks, or repairs. They're just finish checks due to over-tightening. The guitar looks good. No finish touch-ups anywhere. Yeah, I would hope not. It hasn't been alive for that long. Only a couple months to a year. So if you think you might be interested in owning this guitar, feel free to contact me on Reverb or on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy the playing demo.